We've got Joe Hasty from, from Morganton. And you can look at your bio sheet to learn a little bit more about Joe, but he is also a several-time grant recipient, especially when it was the Regional Artist Project grant. So for some of you who remember the history of the grant, how it's kind of changed over the years. And he's going to talk to you a little bit about the music perspective of applying for this grant.
This grant used to be called the Emerging Artist Project,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was before it was Regional Artist Project. Yeah, Emerging Artists, so it's changed a few times.
You're still in my thunder, Ellen. No, I'm just kidding. So, I'll move quickly. I know everybody wants to take a little break, so I'll keep mine short, try to. First, a little background about me. I'm a retired school teacher. Taught middle school and high school in Morganton, although I did graduate from Hickory High right here, and I won't tell you how old I am, but let's just say my sophomore year of high school, the new high school, as it was called, wasn't finished yet, so they had to bus us right over here for gym class, so that was, anyway. After graduating college, I got a backpack and a guitar and went to Europe, where I lived for 7 years as an itinerant musician. I was a busker for the most part. Came back in 1992 to North Carolina, and I heard about this thing in 1993. I heard about this thing called the Emerging Artists Grant through Catawba Arts, and so I applied as a duo. Okay, and the point I want to make at first is this website right here, files.gov grants. Now that is through the North Carolina Arts Council, okay, and that is a resource mainly for the directors here, people like Ingrid and Ellen Ball and Deb Jones, okay, that's a resource for them. But it's available to you as well. Just Google it up, open it up, because you're going to find all kinds of good information to help you with your grant writing and your project proposals, okay? And one of the first things you'll see on there is that it's not just for individual artists to apply for the grant. You can apply as a small unincorporated group or a collaboration of artists. You're all eligible to apply. And so that's what I did. I had a colleague, a singer. She was great at writing lyrics. I suck at writing lyrics. Sorry, I know this is on tape, but it's true. But I could play some music, so we collaborated. And what we wanted to do was write some songs and get them recorded so that we could get gigs. Okay, so that's what we applied for. That was our project, to do a recording project and get some promotional materials. We collaborated on writing the grant, and we got it. In 1993, we were fortunate enough to receive the award. So we went to the studio and we recorded 3 of our original songs, and we made cassettes. That's how long ago this was. And so we used that to get gigs, okay? A couple of years later, I found out that you can apply and get the grant more than one time. And I thought, okay. So in 1997, I was no longer affiliated with my musical colleague then, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to apply for the grant by myself this time. The exact same project. I wanted to record some music and get some monies for some promotional materials, things like a brochure, okay? And by then, in 1997, cassettes were no longer needed. You had to get a CD. So that's what I produced in 1997. That was my project, and I used these to get more gigs. As a musician, of course, we're performing artists, okay? So for us to further our career or to practice our art, we've got to perform, okay? So, and to do that, you want to get gigs and hopefully get paid to perform. So that was the whole idea, and that was the project. And I have to commend, I think it was it Alice? Who was the speaker earlier this morning that was talking about be concise and be to the point on your project, okay, when you're writing your narrative? Can't stress that enough. She nailed it. When it says write your narrative, I got a colleague back there, and he says, look, just because they're giving you 500 words to type in that space on the grant doesn't mean you have to use all 500 words. Don't even use 50 if you don't have to. Use only 5 if that gets your point across, okay? I'm a big fan of bullets, okay? So here's my project. Bullet 1 is this. Bullet number 2, I'm doing it because this. Bullet number 3, it's going to cost this amount of money, okay? Be short and concise with that. You can learn about a lot of that stuff on that website. For example, grant guidelines, it says. You can complete a project or present your project, okay? Career promotion, okay? So that's what I did. I had a project to complete and some promotional materials. Training, maybe you're a songwriter and you want to go to a songwriting workshop in Nashville, okay? You can apply for money for that. Also travel to get to Nashville and back. Those are all good projects to apply for in terms of, asking for money. How they're going to look at you, how they looked at mine was artistic merit. You've got to demonstrate that you're a talent, you've got some talent at your art. Simple as that. They're going to look at that and see, well, this guy's got some talent. And then secondly, a clear commitment to a career as a practicing professional artist, okay? That's one thing that'll also get you over the top is, show that you are wanting to be a professional artist, okay? Not just a hobby, fly-by-night, weekend warrior type, okay? So go in, with the idea that I'm a professional, I want to be a professional, and I'm trying to continue my life as a professional artist. They're going to look at your project to see if it's feasible. Oh, this project looks great, but I don't see it flying. This person has not proven to me that this is feasible at all. So keep that in mind, okay? So in 2007, I did it again, another CD. This was all original material. That was one of my main things, and some more promotional materials. Each time I was fortunate enough to be awarded, to be a recipient of the grant. First time here in Catawba, the other 2 times through Burke Arts Council. But we're all part of the same region. That's why you got people here from McDowell County and Iredell, I believe, Catawba, Burke. We're in Region 14. Another little tidbit that you can learn on that website. Let's see. Yeah, that's basically it. I wanted to make some recordings. I wanted to get some promotional material so I can get gigs. And, just be concise. When you write that up, you don't have to be too wordy with it. And I'm trying not to be too wordy right now, but that's one of my problems. You can ask my former students. So that's it. I do have some do's and don'ts about writing the grant. I can go over that if you want. Other than that, I'm done and will entertain questions from me, or... Pardon?
Yeah, your do's and don'ts.
Oh, okay. All right, so, and it was Alice, right? Who was, she's gone, I think, yeah.
Ellen or
No,
Sally?
was it Sally?
Sally Vaca the writer?
Sally Vaca the writer. She was, if you took notes, I hope you took notes on her and what she had to say because she was spot on with this. So don't wait till the last minute to start writing. Prepare your materials well in advance of the deadline. Leave yourself plenty of time to ask questions of the Arts Council. They're there to help you, okay? They may not write the proposal for you, but, let's say you're the best glass blower in the world, but you're terrible at putting pen to paper. And so writing that proposal is just, hire a grant writer. You network, find somebody that is good at that. Sit down with them, have them help you write the grant. I don't think that's inappropriate. I don't think it's against the rules. It's nowhere in that guideline. So, boom. Let's see. Do consider an outside eye to read through your proposal before you send it. A fresh set of impartial eyes can help strengthen your proposal. My colleague, Todd Green back there, he's a singer-songwriter, a fellow musician. He won the award last year from Burke County, and he used his project money to go to Nashville and record his original material. Okay, once again, I happen to know a couple of the judges that were on the panel last year, and they told me that we looked at a lot of proposals, but Todd's was the best one by far. But Todd had an ace in the hole. He writes grants for his job at the Outreach Center. So he knows how to do that sort of thing. So get up with somebody like him, and help him write your grant. Or at least let him proofread what you got. Don't forget to show how your project is related to career advancement. Make sure you show that it's going to help advance your career as an audience. Be detail-oriented, but not necessarily long-winded. Short, concise, bullet point style will do nicely. Do thoroughly discuss your project. Write details of who, what, when, why, here, and so on. Just don't get too wordy with it. Again, bullet points. Let's see. Do research on the project and be able to show you've done your homework. In other words, be very, very, knowledgeable about your subject, about your project, everything that you could possibly need to know. Make sure you know that and relate that in your proposal. Don't overstate or estimate your budget. Be precise with your budget numbers. Ask for only what you need. Don't say, well, it'd be nice to have, or I want this. Tell them that you need this for me to advance my career as an artist. I need this. Don't write that you need 4 reams of paper at a guesstimated amount of $8 each. Go online, find the exact price, and quote that price. Be exact with your numbers. Don't forget to send along any examples of your work or any extras with your proposal, but don't overload your proposal with too much. Don't attach 27 photos of your work when 2 or 3 will do. Okay? Pay attention to the grant guidelines. Stick to the guidelines. And I think that's the other thing that Sally said. Go back and look at the question they're asking you. Make sure you're answering that question precisely. Here are the guidelines for the 2019-2020 grant proposal. Okay, found this online. It's easily downloadable, and it tells you exactly, who's eligible, what projects are likely to be funded. What projects are likely to be funded. Look at that stuff. You can find it online. Yeah, that's it. And I'll be glad we can, share. I can share any of this stuff with you or make copies or whatever.
Any questions?
Thank you. You spoke on using artist merit to help your application. Can you give me examples of how you illustrate your artist merit?
By your examples of your art, if you're a painter, have a portfolio together or some examples of your art. In my case, I had to submit a cassette tape in 1993 anyway of me playing my guitar and singing my songs. And that the proof's in the pudding. Like if you're gonna,
Yeah, now the files are digital, but I would love if you'd submit a cassette tape. That'd be pretty cool still.
That's the other point I was going to make. In 93, 97, and 07, it was not digital. It was not online. I had to type it all up and put it hard copies and bring it over to the Arts Council. That's how I did it.
So this is not a question, but it's just another answer to how you show your level of professionalism, and that's through an artist resume. And your artist resume doesn't have to be incredibly detailed. In my life, I've done, I don't know how many shows and festivals. Some of them have just been, you pay your money, you show up, you set up, boom, you're done. Others, it's a jury process where they look at your work because they want a certain level of artist to be in that event. So I just list in general, I've participated in, unjuried events in, this part of the state, and then I may go in and list the specifics. As far as a musician is concerned, you want to reflect if you've done recording, if you've worked with specific people who are going to have name recognition. And it doesn't have to be that specific like on a regular job resume, but you can list, I have played at, we've been hired for private events, or I've been hired at private events. I have played publicly at various venues throughout North Carolina, but that's part of that supporting documentation. And going back to what Joe said about having a second pair of eyes on your application, that's one of the things that we provide you as a resource as executive directors of our arts organizations. I read through every one that comes across my desk, and I give advice and pointers. And before you get there, read your narrative aloud, because some people speak well, but they don't write well. Sometimes what I write, I think it sounds great until I read it out loud, because you want, things roll off your tongue a certain way. So read it aloud too. Thank you.
Sally was a writer, and you could tell by her narrative. I mean, she wrote her narrative like she's a seasoned writer, and it sounded that way. We're not all that way, you know. We're painters, or we're dancers, or we're, you know, whatever.
Got time, maybe one more question? I know we had a couple online, one from Allegra. Allegra, I hope you're a musician, because what an amazing name your parents gave you if you are. And the question was, is there a start date for the application? And a couple people have asked me about that today. So our consortium of executive directors will get together and set the exact start date, but it will be sometime in late August is when you can anticipate that being available on the Arts Council website. So go ahead and put a calendar reminder to go off every day on your calendar to check for that. And the other question was, do I contact the county representative for invitational password? Yes. So you can go ahead and register on the Go Smart system. You can do that today. Again, that's on the North Carolina Arts Council website. Whenever we send you the PowerPoint presentation that Lee Ann Wilder did for you this morning, it didn't have that on there? Oh. Yeah.
We had talked about not giving out the password.
Right. Right, but you can register for the Go Smart system and get your profile on there, but you won't be able to apply for the application until you have that password. And yes, and so that'll be available once you've contacted your representative. That's who you'll talk to. So, yeah, and thank you, Joe. Everyone, thanks, Joe Hasty.